hear me now?
Yes, can hear you now, Brent.
Ah, wonderful.
Good stuff. Yeah. Oh, and in fact, we're live streaming. I had a hypothesis that the very long name of the Jitsi was preventing that working, but it looks like rebooting my computer has made the video streaming go more smoothly. Yeah, here we are. It is not a Monday because it's a Tuesday, and we had the August bank holiday. It's like a random last holiday before Christmas in the UK yesterday, which was very pleasant. It is It's the Modern Fowler Scrum. Yay! Sam, your host here. We also have Lara. We have Praveen. We have Brent, and we have a fellow. I can never pronounce it. It's a Jitster. Greetings, new person. Do feel free to update your name, say hello in the chat, or just observe, which is also very good indeed. So I'm still struggling with a bit of jet lag. So excuse me if I mean, it's not really an excuse. I'm just a waffler generally. So yeah, I know. What have I been doing? I have just been updating the Agile Development Using Ruby on Rails course, Part 2 Advanced, is just wrapping up. I think tomorrow is the last day. People are going to upgrade to get their certificates, and it's another 2 days, and the course is over, and we're going to be moving into getting the next one set up, which I've also got to work on. Other things that have happened to me today, just catching up with all of the email bits and pieces. I've been doing some premium emailings, looking through. Yeah, I've got there's a lot of pull requests that I will need to review. So not a huge amount of progress today, but that's fair enough. It usually, I always come back after the weekend. It seems to take half a day to get back in the saddle. Things coming up, there is the RSpec mob in about an hour. Then we also have the NHS project kickoff is going on this afternoon. And yeah, I'm just trying to catch up, not blocked by anything, just got to work through all the great pull requests we've had coming over the weekend. That's me. I think Brent was in next. Hey, Brent, how are things going with you?
Yeah, good, thanks. I managed to get local support code base installed and working over the weekend. So
wonderful.
That was a bonus. I did put a couple of pull requests in, just some updates to documentation, some gotchas I found.
Oh, excellent.
So, hopefully they will help people.
Lovely.
I then tested the work that Fernando did to fix the JavaScript error on the map. That seems to have been fixed, which is good news.
Wonderful.
That was down to some of the organizations having missing longitude and latitude information.
Right.
What else? Oh, and I started to look through the issue in Pivotal Tracker, which was looking at the API requests to get events. So I've made some updates on to that as to some of my findings. Not a huge amount of information, but yeah, I worked through 3 or 4 of the different sites to see if there were APIs, etc. And there wasn't, but one of them had a sort of API. Yes. But yeah, apart from that, that's me.
That's great. Yes. Excellent. No, I saw that through going through. I also noticed you asking the question about the rec cache things, and there's a documentation that I need to pull into local support about that. So I'm sort of all of the I really appreciate all the things that you put in there, and it sort of is all sliding through my consciousness and will be processed and sorted soon. Excellent.
No worries.
Great stuff. So nothing blocking you particularly at the moment. Like you've got your good to. There's nothing that's stopping you to making further progress.
Well, I sort of try to look at the bookmark issue as well. The breadcrumb, sorry, not bookmark.
Oh yeah.
And I started to look through the code, and it realizes me that my lack of knowledge of Rails is a problem. So I think for the foreseeable future, I need to sign up for the edX course when that starts soon. And I'm just looking at other resources that are available to me to try and learn Rails, because local support is the first Rails app I've actually seen. So
right. Okay, cool. Yes, I think there's something I can help directly to. Excellent. We can maybe chat more at the end of the session. Great. Excellent. Thanks. Brent, let's go on to Praveen. Hey, Praveen, how are things going with you? You're muted, by the way, if you're trying to chat. And of course, if you've got an environment and you can't speak, then please do feel free to use the chat setup there, if that's preferable. No audio from Praveen at the moment. Let's just go on to Lara while we check in with Praveen. Lara, how are things going with you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So yesterday I worked on SHF project where I just had to remove the social media links off the site for that did not have social media accounts. So with that, I then also sorted out the semaphore ownership for the SHF account. Yes, this morning. And then I've got the RSpec mob coming up after this. Last night I was in the hipster meeting, which is a payment gateway that SHF project are looking to use for their website. At present, I don't have any blockers.
Cool. All right, nice one. Great report. Great to have you with us. So let's go back to Praveen is telling me in Slack that he is just waiting his turn. You want to try to do your report again, Praveen?
Yeah, sure. So I have updated the PR with the specs, acceptance level tests. So waiting for it to be merged. And I saw another issue, 1631, related to deactivated users got 500 trying to log in. So I might be picking it up and let you know.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. No, that's for the website. One project. Yeah. Well, no. Let's have we can to 1631. Yeah. Cool. Yes. That's actually that would be a good issue to work on. Yeah. Maybe we can have a little chat at the end. I can tell you some of the background for that. Great.
Sure.
Excellent. Thanks, Praveen. Let's go on there to Subota. Hey, Subota, how are you doing there?
Hello. Thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
Very good. All the better for having you with us. How are things going now? Is this your first Scrum with Agile Ventures?
Yes, I'm more of a dinosaur. I was frozen in back in 90s, and now I'm worked up, and I try to catch up with the entire thing that I missed about it. Open source, agile moment. So just don't ask me how did I manage to miss that. Okay.
No problem at all. Well, that's great. That's great. You're in. Everybody's welcome, and it's a perfect place to catch up with whatever needs to be catched up on. Are there any questions that I can quickly answer for you about how Agile Ventures work, or how to help you find what you need?
Yeah, would you please? I tried to join the Slack chat, but it turns out that I need to have University of Berkeley email or something to sign up for that.
I think that's one way to get quicker access. You shouldn't need that. What you could do is, if you give me, can you see that there's sort of a chat environment over? If you go over to the left of the Jitsi here, the third button down is open and close the chat.
Yeah,
if you type your email into that chat, I can make sure that you get a Slack invite.
Thank you so much. Here's my email.
Great. Excellent. And what should happen, in fact, is if I just share my screen and show you, is that when you're, if you go to the Agile Ventures site itself, and if you sign up for an account here, it should automatically invite you into the Agile Ventures Slack. It's not 100% though, so it's possible that something went wrong there. But I'll make sure that you get an invite, and we'll get you into the Slack. Yeah, absolutely. Apologies.
Okay, so I need an account in Agile Ventures. Signing up with Google doesn't work, right?
Well, you can sign either via Google or GitHub. Should, in principle, give you full access to everything. I mean, conceivably, like I think some people on Google or GitHub, conceivably the email is set to private or what have you. There's different bits and pieces. Either which way, I mean, I will. I'm in the background here. I'm inviting you directly into the Slack, and then you'll have full access. And it looks like actually you have a Slack invite has been sent to you. So I'll maybe see if I can try and resend that, and maybe you want to check your what's the word? Forgotten the word. Spam. That's it. Spam.
Junk spam.
Spam folder. There we go. Okay. Well, Well, and Subodha, do feel free to hang around. I mean, we have. I mean, it's been a bit quiet for the summer now, but I'm back in the chair. And basically, we have these meetups every time this day. As you've seen, we've just gone through. Everybody sort of reports on what they're doing, mentioning if they're blocked on anything, and you can get a little help and support. It's coming up now on the quarter hour, which is we try and time box these things. Was there anything anybody else meant to mention that they forgot, or anything else that's stopping them making progress? If not, I guess you're probably aware of it already, Brent. I was just going to mention for you that before the MOOC class restarts, and it should be restarting in about 3 or 4 weeks, probably the best resource for Rails is the Michael Hartle Rails tutorial. I don't know if you've seen
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Ah, I'm glad I mentioned it then.
Can you put that spelling in the chat?
I certainly can. No, it's actually, they've got it found. It's if you go to railstutorial.org, it has all the things, and I think you see there's underneath there's a link here. There's read online free, and I think the one caveat with this is that it tends to be it's a bit testing afterwards, so it's a bit like what we've been doing actually in the Elixir Phoenix thing, Lara, where it's just presenting the machinery and then sort of testing comes in as an afterthought. But I think that's in terms of this is as a free resource, it's really quite comprehensive, and there's a lot of good learning there that can come from Rails tutorial there. The other one that's another great resource is there's the Rails guides, which are more kind of on a referencey style sort of thing. I do find them. I mean, I Rails is a complex beast, and I don't hold all of my knowledge of Rails in my head. And I don't know that anybody apart from DHH kind of can. It's got sort of quite chatty topics like this on the the different aspects of the system. So I find this is quite a good fun resource. One of the reasons I like Rails. I'll just pop that into the chat there as well. Or someone, Praveen's already done it. Well done, Praveen. But don't hesitate to reach out, Brent, in any of the channel. You've got actually the Professional Develop, the Tech Talk, and there are other bits and pieces of resources that we can sort of keep you going until the new version of the course starts.
Yeah, I'll definitely check those out. Thanks. That's awesome.
Excellent. Okay, and then go on. Now, Praveen, we'll just maybe, if that's all right with everybody, we'll just slip onto this website one thing there. So this was the issue that you were looking at, Praveen, the 1631. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh well, and that would be a really good one to look at actually. And it raises an important issue here. So Praveen's made a pull request. He's waiting for an update. Sometimes people could feel that's like, well, I can't get started on something else. Generally, if you've got an outstanding pull request, I think in most projects, it's probably not a good idea to build on top of that, because it may not get merged in the way that you expect. But if one takes an orthogonal issue, as Praveen is doing here, then you can easily work on that on a separate pull request, and that's absolutely fine. And that may actually give us a chance here, because this one hasn't been voted on. So one of the things that we can do, as I've been saying to people, actually no, it looks like, did we actually vote on it already? It's like we've been given it a sign. I don't remember. Did someone run a vote on that at one point? Praveen, do you remember?
No, I didn't run.
I didn't vote on any issues yet.
So. Well, not to worry. I mean, this one we could, depending on. I guess probably we should maybe save it if people are. Since we've gone over time, we maybe won't force people to hang around and do a vote. That's something that we can do. In most projects, certainly the ones that I run, in order before just sort of starting working on something, the idea is to have a sort of vote on it so that everybody is kind of got a general idea of what's going on with it, and it sort of helps pull in information from the team. The quick background on this was over the summer. There was one user who was trying to sign up, and he was getting this 500 internal error. And this actually, the specific thing with this user was that he had created one account with kind of, I think, email or GitHub, and then he was trying to switch it to he was trying to add a Google Plus integration, and didn't work, and he was just trying to get set up with a whole series of getting the right email associated with his account. what I'll do here, if you're thinking of working on this, Praveen, is I'll add some more of his emails in here about this. But the bottom line is that when the database discovers that it's trying to add another user that has the same email, it triggers a database error, and the database error gets reflected as a 500 internal error rather than, a nice error message saying to the user, sorry, we can't do it at this time. So that's I think the key change that we need, the simple fix here, is just to make the error message a bit more pleasant, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks like that was voted on previously. So yes, if you'd like to start work on that, by all means, be my guest.
Sure.
All right. Well, there we go. I think that's our Scrum. And Lara, you're not blocked on anything, are you?
No, I'm not blocked on anything.
That's good to know. And yeah, I guess I'll just sort of finish up with for Suboda. So what we have is this, series of different open source projects. A few have been mentioned in the chat today. The projects themselves have regular, usually weekly meetings, like the one for website one is on Friday, the one for local sport is on Thursday, where we can have a longer chat about that individual project. But we can do our little daily check-ins, and you can come in and get help and support. Does it all make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, more or less. But I thought this is a meeting already dedicated to the project named Local Support. It's rather team than project meeting, right?
Yeah, this is sort of more of the team meeting, and this is one way of thinking about it. It's almost a sort of a scrum of scrums. So there's different project teams, and they have their main meetings. But because everybody's sort of working as volunteers and distributed and so on, we can't really do the thing that people would do in a company where everybody has a scrum every day for every project. Kind of over the top.
Because of the time zones.
So we kind of do this shared thing. And then that also kind of like allows people to drift from one project to another. And people might find, because everybody's, they're doing it partly to contribute to the, good causes, the charities that we're supporting through these projects, but also for their own learning. So they might find that, well, I've done a bit in this project, but now I want to move into this other project. And it's all kind of loosey-goosey like that.
I see. And sorry, one more question. Is this meeting a good place to participate voting for the issues?
It can be. It sort of depends on the time. Often the voting of the issues tends to take place more in the weekly meetings. That's kind of very specifically what that's often for. We also have asynchronous voting support. So if you're in a real rush to get something voted on, you can do it asynchronously through the Slack channels. And also, if for example, we did this item that Praveen had wanted to work on, had not been voted on, and that obviously then would have been a bit of a block for him, we could have quickly done one vote for him now. But yeah, so does that make sense?
Yeah, could you please go through this quickly and just spend a minute to vote for something like that? Vote for something.
Sure. Well, I guess what I'm tempted to do then, actually, and of course other people, everybody's should feel totally free to leave now. Don't feel trapped by this tool. The Scrum has ended, so if you need to get on and do things, then that's absolutely fine. What I'm tempted to do here, since I don't remember voting on this, and maybe I'm actually misremembering.
Should I search the channel? Maybe.
Could you please share the link to this page?
Yeah, I will do. I think actually here, deactivated user. I guess now I'm seeing this, that it says like it was something about I opened it 4 months ago. So I think there was a more recent issue. Okay. So this may be, yeah, here's the link to the issue. This may be, I'm mistaken. I think what I was saying there about, I suspect that the issue is the same underlying one, Praveen. But so that's also the thing. If it's been voted on such a long time ago, it's often dangerous to rely on that because things may have changed. So we could have a quick re-vote on this. Let me just read through this one here. So we've got the user said, right, they got the 500 internal error, and when they were trying to do this, and then so I found the user account. This is me using this in the console, and then set the deleted that column to nil and saved, and hopefully that's fixed it. Yes. So okay, right. So this is more specific. This is not related to the person trying to change their email. This is somebody who was deactivated, then trying to log in and getting the 500 error. But so again, I think it is still about changing the error message. Rather than a 500 error, we need to say, sorry, your account's been deactivated. You know, please email this, and then this, that, and the other.
For me, this looks nothing like possible architectural flaw or something. You know, these internal errors are mostly typos or copy paste or just some condition not taken account for. So I would vote for it to be of size 1. 1 is the smallest. Right?
Before you say the size, the way that we do the voting is that it's sort of an anonymous process. Now it's a little difficult for you, Subota, if you're not in the Slack. But I can kind of show you. I mean, what you might want to do there in the background, if you can quickly look for your email and see if you can look for a Slack invitation to you. I mean, I can quickly get your email address again and maybe possibly resend that to you. But we can do via screen share. I can certainly show you how. I can see here we've got. The invite was sent to you on June the 5th. I'm just going to resend that invitation to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that it got to spam and already
deleted. Yeah. Oh no, that happened. So that's resent. But don't be in any rush here to vote on this particular story, or at least you can kind of come. I'll just show you in Slack how we do this. We use this async voting system both in these sort of synchronous meetings, but also we can use them offline. So what we do is we're in the Slack, in the channel for the appropriate project. So here I am in Slack for the appropriate thing. We can then type out. So this is deactivated user gets 500 error when trying to log in. My guess for this issue is very specifically that our database schema has an index set on the email column for the users table. And so basically, rather than a Rails error, we get a very specific database error at the low level. And so it's almost like, rather than a typo per se, it's the way the error handling is going is kind of what needs to be addressed here. But so at least that's my sense of it. But so you see, if I use this / command here, sorry, it's a little bit small, we then get here this little interface which allows us to select a difficulty and vote for a difficulty for this. So Praveen and Brent have gone ahead and voted on this. I'll just go and take this away and give my own vote. And we've got 3. Now, if it was asynchronous, we could sort of leave that in the channel and there could be further discussion. Does anybody need any further discussion of the issue before we vote on it? If not, then I can maybe go ahead and reveal the vote, because at least my rule of thumb is we need at least 3 votes. And the idea is that we kind of, rather than one person saying, oh, I think it's this, and then everybody just following that lead, by doing this kind of simultaneous voting that's sort of not quite anonymous. It's simultaneous is what it is. We can then reveal those votes, and we can see here that we've gone for, so we've got 3 simples, and then we've got a medium there. And so what we usually do is, not to persecute the minority, hopefully, is just, so the person, we usually focus on the people who've got the slightly diverging opinion. Lara, any particular thoughts why you were going for medium rather than simple?
Maybe because I didn't understand it so well. Happy to go down to simple though.
Yeah. I think it should be basically a question of just that when we do rescue errors in Ruby and Rails, it should be just a question of adjusting that rescue flow, which can be more complex. But yeah, the rule of thumb, which actually I didn't explain to Subota, was usually for 1 or simple is we just talk about if we're making a fairly simple change, whereas database changes, new gems, new libraries, that's kind of a 2, and then combination of those things with extra hardness, that's a 3. But yeah, if you're willing to go to a 1, Lara, that's very helpful. Excellent. Okay, well, that's great. So now we can then, having agreed on that vote, we can then set that, and that's already in the estimator. I'm ready to start. And I guess what I'll also do is I'll go in and assign Praveen to that as well. And then that means that, although Praveen, of course, doing it in volunteer capacity, may or may not be able to get to it, other people will know, Praveen is thinking about it. So if they wanted to start working on it, they would be able to reach out to Praveen and say, how's it going? Can I help? This, that, and the other. Whew. There we go. So I'm sure you may have more questions and thoughts and ideas, Sue, but I think the key thing probably to do now is to make sure that we have got you into Slack. Looks like you're there. Woohoo! Key thing done.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask questions there, either about the specific project in the specific project channels, or general technical questions in the Tech Talk channel, and so on and so forth. And that's how we do that. The one other thing that does happen at these meetings is people check if they're free to do pair programming with each other. I'm not free right now. I think I've got to get on and just work through these admin issues. Is anybody else looking for a pair programming partner right now?
No, thanks.
Not at the moment, because we've got the RSpec mob in 30 minutes.
There we go. Cool. But that's awesome. I think we're all done. Well, great to see everybody. I'm really enjoying these new Jitsies. We've just switched from Hangouts to Jitsies. I will just sort of stop, because this is the dangerous. I just carry on talking eventually. I'll turn off the what's it called? The video streaming. I think we're all set up there. We'll stop the live stream, and